What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of What's Poppin' Podcast, episode number 7.
Yeah, I think it's up to it's either 6 or 7. We're already losing track.
Yeah, we're losing track here. Excuse us. I know this one's a little bit late compared to the other ones here. I just had a lot going on, so scheduling wise for both of us. So we apologize in advance, but thank you guys so much for sticking with us. And for those of you that are listening, appreciate you as always, or watching regardless. But yeah, we got some news for you guys today. But before we get started here, how's everything, Tiff? How are you, man?
It's been very busy. Like you said, we had things come up. I've been doing a lot of stuff with my own endeavors creatively, as well as just getting finally in touch with a family member of mine who's struggling with an illness. Not be able to communicate with her as much as I wanted to, but finally got an opportunity to do that. The weather here is still pretty shit. We got a ton of snow and ice constantly, it just seems, and I'm tired of it. It's done with winter. I say that almost every episode now. And then, other than that, I went and saw Birds of Prey, which we'll be doing a review very shortly.
Yes.
And then I don't know. I just been caught up in life, man. I don't know how you've been.
Yeah, same. Honestly, it feels like it's been. I've been pretty busy in terms of just a lot going on. But overall, positive things. Not too negative. So that's a good thing now. But other than that, just been keeping busy with either, streaming or staying up to date with all the news. Thinking of ideas for the podcast related stuff. But yeah, other than that, everything's been pretty swell, man. It's good to hear that you're doing good though. And condolences, hopefully everything turns out okay with your family member.
We're hoping for the best. Keep her in her prayers.
Seriously. Yeah, for sure. But yeah. Let's get into some news here. Did you want to go ahead and kick it off, or should I kick it off?
Yeah, I can kick it off. No problem.
All right, let's go.
Okay, first up from Collider on Twitter, they announced that Warner Brothers and HBO Max are actually going to be teaming up to make original films for the new streaming service, which I think personally that's a no-brainer. I mean, if they're wanting to be competitive with all these different streaming services, plus with budgets like HBO had just for one show of Game of Thrones, let alone if they're wanting to invest into movies, they have the muscle to make it happen.
For sure.
Make it happen good.
And I've been hearing a lot of rumors in regards to I think they were planning on merging that DC Universe. What is it? The website?
I think it's actually called DC Universe. It's a whole DC subscription,
Universe, right? It's a whole subscription that has a whole bunch of a lot of the older cartoons, like from the Batman the animated series, all those other ones, and some live actions, like exclusive ones, right? Like
they
Titans.
They had Titans. They had Swamp Thing. They have I can't remember what it's called. It's got crap. What is that called? That's gonna bother me. I'll think of it later. But they have like a whole arrangement of some really kind of oddball shows. Some shows that had a lot of potential got canceled, and some shows that have just been a huge success. Overall, I would say it's a positive thing.
Doom Patrol's one, right?
Was it. Yes, that was that one.
So I've heard rumors that they were gonna merge it eventually, and I think it's a cool idea, man. Hopefully they can come up with some exclusive like Batman shows, maybe. Like it would be really cool if they can tackle like a Mr. Freeze show instead of like staying hopeful for a movie. I think it'd be really cool if maybe they made shows.
Like live action shows, or are you saying?
Well, yeah, like live action shows, like kind of something like in like Gotham, where they focus more primarily on the character development of a villain.
Right. See, here's the thing, though. Like, that's something I struggle with when it comes to DC. Like,
it doesn't even have to be Batman, by the way. I'm just throwing it out there as an example. But
for me, like part of what separates Marvel and DC has been. They're both essentially the same thing, except Marvel's core is realistic science with like a lot of liberties there. And DC is like, look at this paragon of deities in brightly colored outfits kind of a thing. And it gets gritty at points as well. I mean, that's not all across. But I think just the style of the way it's been done before really shines at its best, at least in the past, for the most part, with animation in DC. But they've done a lot of great stuff in animation, so I don't know what real demand there is for that.
Animation's always been pretty awesome. It's been up there, man. Like really good. I think Marvel's animation's always been kind of like in terms of like, shows or movies, but like DC's animation's always been up there.
Yeah, so I don't know. It would depend if it's done really well, because I can see it going either way. Like for me, I know a lot of people are huge fans of the way the CW has handled the DC stuff in their shows, and I'm very happy for those fans. But for me, it's very campy. It's very, I can't get super into it because I'm just very aware that it's a TV show kind of a thing. So it'd be kind of cool if they did it, but they did it in a way that was.
It didn't feel such as like it didn't feel like a TV show that you're watching, because like HBO's known for making like shows on a high budget that like makes it seem like you're watching a movie and not just a show. Well,
they did Watchmen, right? The new Watchmen?
It is, the entire season feels like you're watching a film.
Right.
And it's like they did not skimp out. Like you can tell like they like in terms of production,
oh yeah,
and like
for sure.
they were on point with that stuff. So I think this partnership is just nothing but good news, honestly. So hopefully they can head that route, maybe redo some of these characters, like maybe just, I don't know, because I never really got into the Flash or Arrow.
Same. Yeah, it's because
I couldn't get into the CW shows because pretty much what Tim said, it's a very like, it just felt too cheesy for me.
Yeah.
I really tried to get into them. Like I watched 4 or 5 episodes of each, like, series or whatever, but I couldn't get into it.
Yeah.
But this is good news though. This is good news. I think this is awesome. HBO and W.
And they did in the tweet, it did say that they're teaming up to make specifically original films. So I don't think we're going to necessarily run into that TV issue campiness, but what they mean by original films is intriguing because it could mean entirely new concepts instead of familiar IPs. But I would be down for whatever they tend to throw on it, because they got the muscle to pull it off.
Right.
In additional news, this one comes from Rotten Tomatoes, at least that's where I saw it. They say that former Spider-Man director Sam Raimi is in talks to direct Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is supposed to release May 7th, 2021. Are you a fan of Sam Raimi?
Yes, of course, man. I loved his take on Spider-Man. The first 2 original Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. Evil Dead. Love those movies too. I think this is a win, man. If they can actually seal the deal with him, because it says it's rumored or it's in talks or whatever. If they can seal the deal with that, oh my god. That'd be really fucking awesome.
A lot of people, for some reason, look at Sam Raimi like he failed in Spider-Man, but I don't think so, because Spider-Man 3 was kind of... Well, yeah.
Spider-Man 2 arguably is probably one of the best Spider-Man movies of all time.
Right.
In my personal opinion. I think I've seen quite a few opinions of people saying the same thing. The third film, obviously, it was a shit show. It just...
That was because of studio interference, is what I was trying to point out. Is like, it's not the director, because he did the shot composition's great and he tried to pace it out the best he could. But by that point, I can't remember her name, but she, the chief director of entertainment over at Sony, where she makes the big decisions and you have to kind of do what she says, was like, needs more villains. We need to see Venom. We need to see Sandman. We need to see New Goblin.
Because I think at that time they were really focusing more on selling toys and merchandise,
which sucks sometimes. So
it really does. Yeah, that movie was a complete nightmare. But I love the first 2, man, and I feel like he has that he has the chops in terms of making this movie seem, because it's been rumored that the film's supposed to be kind of like scary.
Yeah, that's been going around for a while now.
Like,
I mean, we've reported on that a couple times
or whatever. Not sure what the whole plot synopsis is about yet, because I don't think they really released anything. And just that. But who else to do it is Sam Raimi. I think he can, balance that action hero-ness with a little bit of scares in there. I think he can do pretty good, man. So this is a win. If hopefully they can seal the deal with him, because if they do, then I think a lot of fans are going to be pleased about it.
Oh, for sure.
Because I've seen more positive reactions in regards to that. You know, potentially him being the director, more positive than negative. I mean, of course, everybody's going to bring up the whole Spider-Man 3 thing, but you know,
right. Here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like when it comes to choosing a director, you have to look at what genres have they touched in the past. Did they touch those genres well? Superheroes, yes. Horrors, yes. Next, you look at how did they handle having really crazy, unique shots like that most likely will be in Doctor Strange 2. And for that, Sam Raimi really captured excellently, in my opinion, what it's like to feel as an audience like you're swinging with Spider-Man in those two movies.
Yeah, man, for sure.
That's something I sorely miss in the MCU Spider-Man movies, is that feeling of I'm swinging with the hero. And he's the one who just was like, that's natural. That's what it's going to be. So I think he's a self-proclaimed huge comic book nerd himself. I think he's going to just go crazy with the fun of the camera movements for Doctor Strange.
Not only that, man, but for the casting as well. I think that'd be really cool, because hopefully if he does get picked as the director, we get to see a Bruce Campbell cameo. Maybe in a different Doctor Strange, and it's Bruce Campbell as Doctor Strange, because he's apparently in the movie's taking place in different multiverses. So we'll see. You know, we can see different characters being portrayed by different actors, like a different Captain America or a different Iron Man, you know, from different actors. So that I feel like he could do it, because it could be funny, it could be scary. I feel like he can do the perfect balance of all three.
I always forget he does the Bruce Campbell cameos in every movie he does. I forgot about that. That was funny
apparently
shit.
there was a Bruce Campbell. There was gonna be the Untitled Spider-Man 4 that never got released with Tobey Maguire. Bruce Campbell was supposed to be Mysterio in the fourth film. And so that would have been really cool. I think it was just like a subtle, like, I think he was only going to be in it for like a few minutes as Mysterio, but he wasn't going to be like the main actor or character for that. But I thought it was nice. So I think he would probably include him in there somehow to play a certain character, and it's always fun to see him on there.
So next news, moving on with still a Disney-owned project, but it's not comic books. It's official. This comes from Disney Plus News. It's official. Turner and Hooch will be adapted into an hour-long series for Disney Plus. Josh Peck will star as Scott Turner. The series has received 12-episode order. Are you familiar at all with Turner and Hooch?
Okay, so that's Tom Hanks, right?
Yes. Yeah.
I remember, I remember little bits and pieces of that movie, but I never really sat down and watched the entire thing. It's like a buddy cop movie, right?
Yeah, with the puppy.
With like a dog. Yeah. That's what I remember, movie. But I've never really watched it. I think that's probably one of like Tom Hanks's movies that I've ever really got into, but I liked a lot of his stuff. I love Tom Hanks, but for some reason, when you link that, I'm like, wow, I remember this movie, but I don't remember. It's just vaguely, you know what I mean?
For me, Turner and Hooch always hits a soft spot. I'm a huge dog lover. I can't help myself. They're freaking adorable. And this dog is, and at least in the one with Tom Hanks, was the grossest, most obnoxious dog. It ate everything. It drooled everywhere. It like busted through doors.
Like a Beethoven.
It locked him out in his underwear outside. Like it was a monster. But he fell in love with the dog, and it pulls on your heartstrings, kind of like my dog Shiloh at the end. And it just messes with you. So it's a really heartwarming series, but it was only like an hour and 40-minute movie. So if they're doing an hour-long series, as they say, and it's 12 episodes, is that just 10-minute episodes? I'm very confused. I don't know how that breaks down. If it's 12 episodes, but it only takes an hour? Or is each episode, is it 1 hour each?
They probably mean an hour each.
Okay. So
probably, because that's strange.
That's just the way they phrase an hour-long series. I'm like, okay. But I'd be down. I mean, it's a classic story of companionship with an animal
Yeah.
and excitement because hey, he's a cop. So it's just
That'd be really cool to get Tom Hanks cameo in there.
Yeah, it would. I would love that.
That would be really cool if you can get him cameo. Josh Peck as like the lead role. I don't really mind Josh Peck. You know, I feel like he's kind of.
Josh Peck,
like he's a little underrated. I feel like he's a little underrated.
Was he the guy from Drake and Josh?
Yes.
Like actually Josh?
Yeah.
He lost a lot of weight after that show.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was good. It was good. No.
Yeah. It's a good thing though.
Yeah.
But I can see that.
So yeah, I'm down. I'm down with the show. Curious to know if they're gonna use the same kind of breed of dog or if they're gonna switch it up and do something else.
Well, it should be a Chihuahua, but it's like a Chihuahua from hell. Like it's just going crazy.
Just a little wiener dog, you know.
Yeah,
it's cute.
something like that. And then last bit of news before I toss it over you is from Discussing Film on Twitter, an Untitled Sony Pictures and Marvel film, which means it's both studios, not just Sony, will release on October 8th of 2021, which is sooner than it seems because I keep forgetting it's already 2020, honestly.
Yeah.
And movies take a little while.
Untitled October movie set in 2021.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
What do you think? Because if it's paired with Sony, I think that involves Spider-Man on like at least the IP of Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think they're trying to do? Is it like a Venom sequel? Is it supposed to be?
Yeah, I would say Venom. That's a good. It could be that, or it could be Carnage.
Ooh.
Like maybe a Venom and Carnage movie.
I forgot they teased. You remember that teaser at the end of Venom where he's got that little like Annie red curly wig on?
Yeah. I mean, they can do a Venom versus Carnage movie.
Sure.
I feel like that'd probably fit perfect in October. Kind of makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of another movie because we are getting the Jared Leto film. Oh, what's the vampire one?
Morbius.
We're getting Morbius this year.
Yep.
So it can't be that because talking about 21. Right. I don't want to say X-Men yet because I feel like X-Men's going to be introduced in a different film.
Well, that and also like if Sony's involved, it can't be something like why would they be involved if it isn't something Spider-Man?
Fox. That's Fox. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, damn, yeah, you're right.
I mean, if they really wanted to go crazy and have it be just like a scary as shit, Sinister Six try and spin off, but I imagine like a Carnage or an actual Green Goblin, that'd be kind of spooky because he does like the Halloween bombs, or is that Hobgoblin? I can't remember.
That is Hobgoblin. Hobgoblin, yeah. So Green I don't know.
I'm excited because it's October. I mean that makes
more Marvel news in October. Yeah, I'm heck yeah. And hopefully, yeah, we'll see. That's interesting though. That I don't even know why they would actually like make some kind of announcement this early about that, but maybe we'll get more news this year's Comic-Con in regards to that one.
I bet
that's like a very specific date.
Yeah, October 8th. Yeah, I don't know what that's for. I think you're onto something. If they say it now, that makes people think about it, so that they have that hype to expect an announcement officially come Comic-Con or D23 or some of those other panels. Because I think Marvel as a whole, the MCU kind of blew their load last time by going, here's our new lineup. Look at this. Look at that. We cast Blade. Look at this guy. You know, like all this other stuff. And so I don't know what they have to really throw out there for audiences. So I think that's probably what this is.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. But yeah, I got some news here for you guys. First one is an Aladdin sequel is in development at Disney with John Gatnis and Andrea Berloff set to write the screenplay. So, did you watch the first Aladdin live action film?
I did. I was pretty just plain on it. I would say in our scale of rating things, I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was good. I just thought it was a safe, smooth ride. But I thought by far Will Smith surprised me, and that he wasn't doing a cheap imitation of Robin Williams, and he wasn't doing something that was boring. He was kind of bringing something new to the table as Genie. So I would like to see more of that. Did you hate the movie? Did you love it?
I thought it was okay. I
Right.
mean, I've only seen it once, and I don't think I want to see it again. And it's not like because, like, if I seen it on TV or something, if it was on, cool, that I sit down and watch it, whatever, right? But like, I wouldn't actively go on Disney Plus and watch Aladdin, just because. Yeah, I think the best part was it's kind of ironic to say this, but the genie is what made
Right.
this film. You know, same thing with the
The animated one. Yeah.
yeah, the animated one. I mean, Robin Williams killed it as a genie, and then this one, the genie stands out a little bit more for me.
Mhm.
The musical numbers I thought were really good. They did a whole new world. That sequence was really nice.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
I thought they did it justice for sure. I just don't. I don't know. I didn't care about the development for Jasmine that much. They're trying to make her to be like obviously the hero type of thing, or
Or
I
have
don't
her.
need no man type of thing.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I got from there. And apparently they're trying to do a spin-off off of her too.
Whoa. Okay.
I've heard rumors of that, so I don't know, man. We'll see. We'll see where this turns
It's hard
out.
to tell. It's hard to tell where
Because
demand is for those things.
yeah,
Just
I don't know
because-
which if they're gonna make like an original story,
Right.
or if they're gonna follow the story that was made from Aladdin 2, the
Return of Jafar.
Return of Jafar.
Yeah.
Because I love the original. Well, the first one, obviously. The second one, that was okay, but the third one, I really enjoyed. Which I don't remember the name of that one.
Oh,
but,
King of Thieves
yes,
or Prince of King of Thieves, I think.
yes, that one was really cool. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that one. So I'm curious to know if they're gonna follow that storyline or if they're just gonna make up a whole brand
Well,
new
because
one.
the third one had to do with, I think, and man, I don't know why I can remember this. King Midas's golden hand, and
Mhm.
Aladdin's father, and he was
Mhm.
like the king of the 40 Thieves clan or whatever.
Mhm.
And it was just really cool. Return of
Yeah.
Jafar was kind of dumb because it's just Jafar being like, "Hey, you screwed me over. I'm gonna screw you over." And it also had off-brand genie actor. It wasn't even Robin Williams in that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they want to change up how 2 was, and
Because
kinda
those are
have-
like straight to VHS films. That's why,
Yeah.
you know. So.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
we'll
down
see.
for it.
I mean, honestly, I'm not hating on it. We'll see. Maybe they can change it up.
Right.
I thought it was whatever's to me. The best parts are like I've already said.
Mhm.
So yeah, this is cool. I'm down with it. Next bit of news here, we have something really exciting for me, to be honest with you. I don't know if you're a fan of this, but the Mighty Duck series has been in talks for like a good minute to try to get rebooted. Apparently they're trying to get like the old cast to come back at one point, I think, but I don't know if that's still gonna happen. I don't know if this is gonna be their kids or what. I don't know what the plot synopsis actually is. But the Mighty Duck series will star Lauren Graham and Brady Noon, while Emilio Estevez is in talks to reprise his role as Gordon Bombay. Look for it on Disney Plus later this year.
Okay. Can I be brutally honest?
Interesting that it's this year.
Wait, what time this year though?
It just says look for it on Disney Plus later this year. That's kind of soon, man. This is something that like I feel like would be put out 2021.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, go ahead.
Well,
What do you got to say?
What I was going to be honest with you about is I have a very vague memory. There was an old
Uh-huh.
video store in my local tiny ass town, and there was a animated Mighty Ducks movie
Mhm.
that had like the ducks, and he had like a really cool like hockey mask, but it had like the golden duck bill shit.
Mhm.
And that is all of Mighty Ducks that I know. I know
Yeah, there was
that
an
there's-
animated series. There was an animated series, along with a couple like animated cartoon or movies.
Yeah.
But completely different from what the movies are, like the actual Mighty Duck movies.
Because that's hockey, right?
Yes, Mighty
Okay.
Ducks is hockey. Yeah.
Like live action. Though.
Yes.
So like that's where I'm like completely off because I'm like when you said Mighty
Okay, so
Ducks at first. I
Have
was
you
like,
seen The Sandlot?
Yeah.
It's basically the hockey version of The Sandlot.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Just a group of kids, just play hockey, locally, whatever, and then they want to take on the mini league or is it the minor league?
I'm not
pretty
sure.
much. Yeah, they want to take
I'm
on
not a big hockey guy.
minor league hockey, you know, and Emilio Estevez is pretty much their coach.
Okay.
So this is good because I grew up with Mighty Ducks fan, and I watched this movie multiple times, and its sequels too. I believe there was 3 of them. Yeah, there was 3 of them, and it followed majority of the kids stayed on board with all 3 films, so they grew up. So in the beginning, they're kind of like, or the first film, they're pretty small. Like it's clearly like they are in the minor leagues, you know. And in the second film, they're like, you know, junior high.
Okay.
And then the last film, I think they're like in high school, maybe college.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, but they're like it's cool to see like the kids actually grow up. You're like growing up with them because, you know, the way the films are coming out like that. And by the third film, Emilio Estevez's character is still in the movie, but he's not their coach anymore. And that's where, you know, things take a turn there because they have to adjust to, you know, being taught by somebody different and the way they're winning, or, you know, just a whole bunch of cool. But I like this. I'm happy. I've been excited ever since they announced that they were trying to reboot it, because I was like, please get Emilio Estevez in there, because he's pretty much like, I feel like that'd be perfect to get. Like, I think they can do it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can get him back on, is what I mean by that.
For sure. I mean, if honestly, if you think about it, Disney, they almost have no end to their pocketbook.
Yes,
they will motivate whoever they need.
It seems like they've been killing it with getting people out of retirement, and not just retirement, because I think Emilio Estevez has started to get back into acting recently. So it's very much possible, but it seems like they've been able to get people to reprise a lot of the roles, older roles to be in there. I think that's fucking exciting, man. I'm looking forward to it later this year. Like I said, I didn't expect this to be early or this early on. This is something that maybe 2021, but I'm down for it. Hopefully if they can lock in Emilio Estevez, it is going to be a killer show for sure, man.
That'd be cool.
But yeah, if you guys have not checked out Mighty Ducks,
I'll have to add it to the list.
And you're a boomer like me, you know. But go watch it, please.
It's probably
really
good.
On Disney Plus. If you like The Sandlot, you'll like Mighty Ducks. I don't think it's on Disney Plus yet, but it will be. I think it should be there this year for sure.
Every week they add, I want to say, like 25 things that wasn't on there a week before. So eventually it'll be on there.
Yeah, because I remember that was probably one of the first movies that I looked up on Disney Plus to see if it was available to watch, and it wasn't yet. But if you search it up, it tells you that it's coming soon or whatever.
Cool.
So yeah, as soon as it goes up on there, watch it. You guys will really, really enjoy it. It's really fun. But the next bit of news here is it's not really linked to the last bit of news. But it's interesting because we talked about it last podcast. Rick Moranis is officially confirmed of reprising his role as Disney's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot. So that is exciting. And that's what I meant by Disney and what you said. They got the money, man. They can bring a lot of these actors to come back and reprise their roles. So why can't they not do it to Emilio Estevez? They got fucking Rick Moranis to come out of retirement to play in Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot. This is awesome.
Now that that's confirmed, no longer rumor. Now that that's confirmed, I'm thrilled. He was one of the actors that whenever he showed up on screen, I always ended up having a smile on my face. Either by the end of the scene, midway, sometimes at the very start, as soon as he opened his mouth and started doing dialogue. The man was just a comedic force. And to have him back is going to be a blast of a time. I mean, that's like a time capsule almost is what it's going to feel like when I watch it, is that it's going to be like, oh my God, he's still here. That's cool.
He's going to be the grandpa too, I'm assuming, of, you know, or whatever happens. I don't know what the plot synopsis is yet. I don't think there's anything like concrete yet, but it's exciting that he's coming back, because Honey, I Shrunk the Kids reboot without Rick Moranis, I feel like would be like one of those straight to VHS type movies, and
or a flop or something. It'd be bad.
So good on Disney for doing that. Good job, Disney. Let me go ahead and do one more here, and I'll toss it back over to you. The next bit of news is Joker related news. Surprise? Not really, right? We love talking about Joker in Star Wars. But the actress Zazie Beetz, which, by the way, lovely lady, doesn't think that DC should be milking a sequel, but feels director Todd Phillips would be the right person to make it tastefully. And for those of you that don't know yet, Zazie Beetz was in the film. She was the neighbor of Joaquin Phoenix's Joker.
Yeah, she was a root of one of the biggest kind of
pretty much the love
big
interest,
delusion scenes and reveals.
It's the love really interest, cool. Quote unquote.
Yeah,
yeah.
She also played, I believe, her name was Domino in Deadpool.
Yep.
Where she was like
and
super
she was
lucky.
The best thing in that fucking movie, aside from Deadpool, obviously.
Right.
I thought her character was amazing, dude.
Yeah, she was
and
fun.
I hope we get to see some more Domino too.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's also in the show Atlanta too, which we've mentioned here on the show before. And I think she's a terrific actress. And I remember in the very beginning, this is all Joker related stuff. People were speculating what Zazie Beetz's character was going to be, and someone mentioned something that I thought was very interesting that could have potentially been that Zazie Beetz could have been the first like Black Harley Quinn.
I heard about that too, but I was like,
and I thought that would have been really cool, but obviously too early on to do.
It would have been way too
for
soon.
Like an origin story or whatever, right?
Yeah,
like but I thought that was very interesting. I'm like, I can see it, but like too early on, obviously,
for sure.
And now after watching the film, it wouldn't make any sense.
No,
but this, in regards to her words on DC milking a sequel, I feel the same way, man. I wouldn't be mad if we didn't get a sequel. Would you be upset if we didn't get one?
Yeah,
you would be a little upset.
Yeah, I gotta be honest with you, man. When she said milking a sequel, I'm like, okay. When it comes to, and I want to not talk about too many details because obviously I want people to watch our review of the upcoming movie review. But when it comes to movies that the first part of the movie was already, in my opinion, straight up just some dog shit on the sidewalk, that's a time where if there's a sequel, I feel like they're just milking a franchise because it's not good and you're just trying to do cash grabs. Versus if it's got a quality piece of entertainment that doesn't necessarily need a sequel, but you're luckily having one. I think until that sequel comes out, that's to be determined if it was an effort just to milk money, and it's going to be very evident if it's not good, versus a continuation of a vision. Because if there's a continuation of a vision, I don't think that's milking anything. I think that's just pulling back the camera to reveal more of the masterful art work. For me, it's a different thing. So I can see how someone could think it's milking it if, they're only doing a sequel to this because they made a lot of money. Obviously, that's how studios work and executives look at it. But the fact that,
which is clearly, this made more than just a lot of money. It got awards. It fucking praised Joaquin Phoenix.
Yeah.
But
that's the thing. Like, Joaquin Phoenix is a man who's very selective. Like, he's known for being like, I don't work on shit that I don't like.
And this would be the first time he's ever done the sequel, by the way.
And this is before it got it got praise and it got some money, but at the point where he said he was willing to do a sequel was before he'd gotten any awards. It had grossed over that threshold that I think it was like $1 billion. Or it didn't get that much, did it? I think it only like 900 million or something crazy.
I want to say it hit maybe $1 billion internationally, like globally, like everywhere. I think it officially hit $1 billion, but
it's before all that happened. He was like, "I'm down to do the sequel."
Yeah, he was already talking about whether that he felt like, if he can maybe build a script with Todd Phillips, because he said that there's still plenty more that they can do with the character from what he said, but if they can build a pretty good script, that he would be on board with it. But he said that he's okay if there wasn't one. True. And I'd be okay with it, like, the fact that we didn't get a sequel. Totally fine with it, honestly, man. Just because, I don't know, sometimes sequels kind of ruin the original. You know what I mean?
For sure, it's a risk for sure.
Yeah,
because
it's a huge risk, and then this one ended up like from beginning to end ended perfectly fine. But my selfishness, of course, I wouldn't mind a sequel. I'm not saying I don't want one. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind if they didn't make one. But of course, I wouldn't mind a sequel. Come on now, you know.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like if I've seen a sequel series to, say, I don't know, a franchise with, you know, lightsabers and space travel, a sequel series to that. It doesn't necessarily, for me anyway, matter, because I can kind of just not look at it and still enjoy the original. But in other aspects, for example, I thought Man of Steel was a fantastic movie for the most part. And then Batman vs. Superman came out, and that really made it hard to rewatch Man of Steel. So it's kind of a very situational thing. So I can see both ways, and time will tell if they do make a sequel, if it was worth it.
Yeah. But so that being said, do you agree, or do you feel anything that she's wrong about these, like about what she said here? Like, you know, in terms of DC maybe milking it a sequel, but if she also said if the director feels like Todd Phillips would be the right person to make it, and it's obvious. I agree with her 100%. I don't think anybody else should touch this fucking, you know, character other than Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, because they seem like they have really good chemistry with each other and they work with each other very well. So why would you want to change any of that? You know what I mean? So if they can't get Todd Phillips to make another one, then don't fuck with it. And I doubt that Joaquin would want to do another one without Todd Phillips. So
which I'm pretty sure they already signed on as director, and Joaquin said he's going to do a sequel. So I think that's sad.
But yeah, that's it. I want to go ahead and do one more, because since we're talking about sequels, I want to talk about a prequel that is currently being screenwritten by Jeff Nathanson, the screenwriter for The Lion King. It's set to rewrite the screenplay for Paul King and Warner Brothers' Willy Wonka prequel.
Okay. Wait. Let me get this straight. Are they saying it's a prequel to the classic
Willy Wonka? Yes, the Willy classic
Wonka one. Oh yes. Man, I don't know how they're gonna do that.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do that either. I think I was looking at some comments of like potential castings. And they could make this movie kind of dark too. Right.
Well, did you ever see that Johnny Depp one?
I've heard some people like suggesting, and I was reading through the comments too. Someone suggested Paul Dano, the kid that well, I don't even know if he's a kid anymore, but he's an adult, obviously. He just got casted for the Riddler.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. He that gentleman. Someone said that he should be able to play a younger version of Willy Wonka. And I can see it. I can definitely see it for sure. He'd
have to really clean up, because all I see him in is what was that movie with where he There Will Be Blood, I think it was what it was called. Where he's a whimpering dude and walking away, and he's all gross looking. And a lot of the movies I've seen him, he kind of looks grungy. So he would need to clean up for that, unless that's the origin they're wanting to go with.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there was a little bit of an origin story in the remake with Johnny Depp, which I did not like at all. There was a little bit in there, but I mean, this is going to be a full-on origin story from what I'm getting. If it's a prequel, so I'm assuming we'll get majority of the origin story leading up to him getting the chocolate factory.
Well, let me ask you this. You said you didn't like it. Did you particularly appreciate that Christopher Lee was a dentist who put these god-awful braces on this kid, and that's what caused him to want candy, and then he went to these random countries.
That was his dad.
Right.
That was his dad.
And then he went to this weird country with the Oompa Loompas, and he saved them.
See, now you're just making me hate the movie even more. Like you're just the way you're saying that is making me like, yes, I hate it. Yes,
it was so weird. I loved it though.
It was really stupid.
I loved it because he had a line. I think it's like, everything in this room is edible. Even I'm edible, but that's called cannibalism, and that's frowned upon in most societies. I was like, I like that line. I don't know why.
Okay, yeah. The way you said it was actually funny, but when he said it, I was just like, like, no. But I love the original Willy.
Oh,
Did
for
you watch
sure.
the original one? Okay,
dude,
yeah,
that's
man,
a masterpiece.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and it was even creepy at times, you know. And I think you know which that moment where they go through the tunnel. Yes,
there's a chicken getting beheaded in the tunnel. Like as a child, I was like, why? I was freaking out,
dude. So I mean, a prequel, I wouldn't be against it, honestly. I think that'd be really cool. I'm just curious to know what they would go, like how they would actually go about doing this, you know.
Yeah.
And I would really like a dark origin story, to be honest with you. Maybe
like how dark though? Like, would you want it to be like in the dark ages there was?
I feel like child abuse type stuff.
Oh, okay. So
where
even
he
darker
was,
where I was
he was
going.
abused. That where he was like abused and stuff like that, leading up to the point where this is why he wants to give happiness back to kids,
and why he's kind of stuck in a childish mindset
mentality type of stuff. So I feel like that'd be really cool, you know, if they can do something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm totally down. Are you okay with this?
I'm interested. I'll say that. I'm curious.
You don't know if you want to see a prequel.
Yeah, I'm curious. It's more so like.
We'll see when we get more information about it.
Yeah, it seems kind of out there, but I'm down, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and toss it back over to you since I only got 4 more left.
Okay. All right. From Discussing Film on Twitter, a Spider-Woman film may be in development at Sony Pictures. It's a rumor. Would you want to watch that? Would you say it's too soon? Too late? It's just. Too soon. Okay.
It's in development, so I mean, we usually some films are in development for fucking years, you know. So
Uncharted.
Yeah. Not only that, fucking Indiana Jones, dude. Holy crap.
Yeah,
that one's been in development now too. So, would I want to see a Spider-Woman film? Sure, why not?
That'd be cool.
But I would like for her to be introduced in a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know?
Or, I mean, if it was kind of like how they did it with Spider-Man in the MCU, where it's in Civil War, but you kind of still feel like it was a moment with Peter Parker, and then he gets his own thing. I'd be happy with that, too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, I would like for her to be introduced in a Spider-Man movie and eventually have her own spin-off or whatever, right? I'm down with it, honestly, but like right now, like in a year from now, nah, too soon.
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be way too soon.
There's a lot. Sony in the past has done a lot of announcements, and a lot of it has just kind of fallen away as the years goes away. So they say a lot, but I don't know how much actually gets done. This is a project that, while it sounds cool on paper, if it's not executed well, it's going to come across very just kind of like, look at all the cool stuff that we're trying to make you go watch, rather than a fun additional part of the big story. I don't know, because I think that's what's the strong suit of these movies, is that it's like this is another chapter of a longer epic tale. And if it just feels like we made this movie because we know that people will go watch it, rather than I'm just like So I don't know. It could be too soon, but I'd be down for sure.
I'm sure why not. I'm not, like I said, I'll be down with it, but just not for like another 2 or 3 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Just because, like, I just want them to primarily focus on the story of just like, where the fuck is Morbius gonna end up at? You know what I mean? True. Is this gonna be a pointless story? Or is he eventually gonna actually fight against Spider-Man? Or the same thing with Venom. Is he eventually gonna meet up with Spider-Man, or is that still gonna be left up in the air? You know, like, it's just, I don't want other characters to be introduced into this shit if they're never gonna cross with MCU Spider-Man at all. Like,
it's gonna get a little too cluttered with just a bunch of.
That's what I mean. I just don't want it to end up like DC, because DC at the moment they're finally starting to tie things back in. but then something happened with this newest release that kind of just like makes it really fucking weird again. And it's just like, oh, God, just try to. I'm not saying that everything has to connect, but I just find it weird when they try to do spin-offs with characters and that they weren't. They're only interesting. The only thing that made them more interesting was the fact that they were a part of the Spider-Man universe. Like Venom alone is cool. I like him. I think he's a great fucking villain. But Venom without Spider-Man is just
It feels more science fiction movie than it does a comic book movie.
You know what I mean? So same thing with this whole Spider-Woman thing. I'm okay with it. I'd be down, but I feel like she needs to be introduced in the Spider-Man movie in order for this to like make sense to me. Like, you know?
Yeah, I totally get you, man.
Yeah.
Speaking of comic book movies that involve women in it, Discussing Film has let us in on the know that Birds of Prey has been retitled Harley Quinn Birds of Prey on movie theater websites. Now, digging a little deeper on this, it's not an official name change so far as when it comes out on Blu-ray, it's only going to be called Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, which is what I initially thought. Yeah, it's basically
just more so of like when people are like searching up the movie or in movie theaters. Right. For like the average Joe, like average moviegoer, if they read, Birds of Prey in a fantabulous, because the fucking title's really stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah.
No, and after watching the movie, now it's even more stupid. After watching, which we'll get into. So yeah, for like the average moviegoer, if they saw that, they wouldn't be like, "Is this a Harley Quinn movie or whatever?" So yeah. I get that. That's kind of a smart tactic by them to do that, and it makes sense.
I think it's too little, too late.
It is a little too late, but I mean, if it helps, it helps, right?
I don't think it's gonna help, man. Well, I went on Thursday. Well, we'll get into this with the review, but I'm gonna say this right now. I went on Thursday night. This last week when it was right before it came out that evening, I went and saw this movie. There was one other person. It was an old dude who, for some reason, was a huge Harley Quinn fan. I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, but but he was in the very back. It was me and my wife, and that's it. It was a big theater.
Man, Margot Robbie, dude, she brings in the butts and the seats.
I guess sometimes. But yeah, I don't know if this is. I think it's personally a little too little too late, because I don't know how big of a difference someone's gonna be like, Birds of Prey, no, Harley Quinn and Birds of Prey, yes. I don't know if they're gonna be sold just on the name, so I don't know.
Right.
It's an interesting change. I don't know if I don't remember a movie doing that in a theater before.
I don't recall them doing that either, which it's weird to me why their marketing team didn't think about that, like right off the bat. They're like, are people gonna get this confused, or whatever, you know what I mean? Just I don't know, man. I think they really fucked up on the name. Dude. They like really fucked up on the name, just because the movie, man. Once we get into the whole review of it, you guys will understand what we mean by that. It's just like the name is very misleading at times, which is why they kind of confuse. It's confusing, which is why they have to change it. It's very confusing.
Well, also, if someone's not a comic book person, they see a movie titled Birds of Prey, they're not going to keep reading. They're going to see Birds of Prey and think, oh, yeah, my bird watcher grandpa is going to love it. He's going to go to the movie. That may be why that guy was there. He was thinking it's Birds of Prey. I'm here to watch some eagles.
Where the birds, man?
I don't know. But yeah, that's pretty much that piece of news.
So that was kind of a fuck up on their part. But, if it helps them, it helps. But we'll see.
Yeah. Then I have one more Disney thing, real quick. Diego Luna, who was going to be in that, I should say, Disney Plus Cassian Andor series. He's the character from Rogue One. Has new details for the series, and in a recent interview, this is from comingsoon.net. In a recent interview with Entertainment Tonight, lead star Diego has revealed a few details about Disney Plus's forthcoming Rogue One prequel series, centered on Luna Cassian Andor from the first Star Wars spin-off film. He confirmed that Cassian Andor series is indeed expected to begin its production later this year, and that he will be digitally de-aged in some parts of the series. Then he went to quote or say, "We're doing it this year. It's happening, and I'm getting ready for it. It's really cool to tell a story where you already know the ending. It is a different approach because of the beauty, and it's how things happen." Which I'm not sure what he means by that sentence. It is a different approach because of the beauty and it's how things happen. It's not just what happens. It's not the typical way of approaching a story. It's about how things happened, which in fact is the same that happened in Rogue One. You know the ending, but you don't know how it happened. And we have that challenge in front of us again, which is exciting. So I think what he's trying to say is that you oftentimes get the overall story, but not the really detailed nitty-gritty what went on into making that a reality.
Right.
Which is cool. I'm the more I think about it, the more I'm like, it wouldn't hurt to have it, and if it's not good, I can kind of just ignore it. But if it is really cool, I'll be glad they made it. I don't know about you.
I mean, I've said this before in the past. This is one of those series that I don't see the fucking point. Like, I really don't.
Right.
I don't see the point of it. But then again, I didn't see the point of Rogue One either in the beginning. Like, when they announced Rogue One, I was like, why the fuck are they going to do this again? Like, what's the point of this? Like, they're going off of just one little part, which is how did,
Yeah, it's basically the title, the scroll from A New Hope. That's what that synopsis was for Rogue One.
That's the synopsis that they're going for. Is just that, and now they're making another series off of just a little bit of the synopsis too. So that's what I mean. Like, at the beginning, when I heard about Rogue One, right? I didn't give a shit about it.
Right.
I just didn't care. But when it came out and I saw it, I think it's probably one of the best Star Wars movies of all time.
It's gorgeous. It's really gorgeous. And that Darth Vader hallway scene will always be a fucking highlight.
And I loved it. So in the end, I went into it just like, why the fuck what's the point of this? You know what I mean? But watching it afterwards, I'm like, whoa, that was great. Now, I still feel the same way about this one in particular, just because I don't see the point of it.
Right.
Like, but who knows? I might be surprised, and because I'm a Diego Luna fan. I love Diego Luna.
He's a good actor.
And I wanted to be casted more in a lot of these other films. So I hope it's good. I'm hoping that it's good, but I don't have any like expectations at all. I'm just kind of like, well,
well, I mean, that's the thing too. Like, this is going to be a live action Star Wars series, with Mandalorian being the first one really impressing me with how well the visuals looked. Them doing that plus de-aging of a character, of a person, might be distracting. I don't know how far that spreads out the budget.
I mean, the whole de-aging thing, it could work sometimes. It just depends if it's going to be the entire series, then it's probably going to be distracting a little bit. But I think you can move past it, because I watched The Irishman. I don't know if you've ever seen The Irishman. They de-aged the crap out of De Niro, and
it was a long ass movie.
And they de-aged a lot of them, like especially De Niro, and it was very noticeable too at times. But there was at times where you kind of just move past it after a while, like it just depends.
Yeah, I think that was just an issue of them being so old that de-aging them 40 years, they're still old. So like, at no point when it was supposed to be him as a young man getting like an oil change by his vehicle, I was like, wait, is this in the past? Because he's still old. Like, so I don't know, but that was just me. But as far as this goes,
right now, because he's still pretty like, I don't know how old he is. I'm assuming like early 40s, maybe late 30s, something like that. Right. I think that it wouldn't be as distracting as let's say The Irishman. So
for sure,
I think it will work. Yeah. So we'll see.
And then the last little bit of news I have is from discussing film. Vin Diesel has said that he wants to reward fans by splitting Fast and Furious 10 into 2 parts. This is before even the new ninth one has even come out yet. He's saying this.
Yeah, he's I think he came out with like a long time ago. He came out with a statement that was pretty much like a whole. This is back when like 7 or 6. I
It
think
might
it
have
was
been
probably around
6.
6 or 7, right?
Yeah.
Where he released a whole like timeline thing of where he wanted it to go
Yeah.
or end at. Like he wanted to end at 10. But this is new. He didn't mention that he wanted to be a 2-parter.
I don't know. It's funny how you were pointing out reward fans.
Reward the fans. That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay, here's the whole thing about 2-parters. A lot of studios cut the final part of a series into 2 parts. Why? They claim it's to better, transcribe the script and the written work to the screen. Yeah. No, it's them saying we need to milk more money out of this franchise, and this is the last one, so we're getting 2 for 1. I think that's. I could be proven wrong fully.
Yeah,
there could be some sick ass car shit that I'm like, I'm glad there was 2 of this. But
the fucking movies are ridiculous at this point, man. The first 2. I loved 100%. I can rewatch those anytime. And Tokyo Drift, obviously, because they introduced my.
That was a really good movie. I forgot.
Tokyo Drift was really good, and then went back to more on the car related stuff and the street racing and
because that was what the beginning was. It was just
the love
realistic
of cars and stuff. Yeah, you know what I mean. But then they started to get really ridiculous, dude. Like really ridiculous.
I remember your reaction to episode to the 9th one when the fucking like Tarzan swing with the tire, like I was like, holy shit.
Dude, Vin Diesel gets hit by a fucking car in that trailer too. They're ridiculous, man. But they're fun, dumb popcorn movies for me. I enjoy them. Like they're entertaining. I don't expect
they're cartoons, but they with like realistic visuals. That's all it is.
Exactly. Thank you. That is the perfect way of putting it. Live action cartoons. It's just you have to just go with it. Pretty much.
You know what would be a really sick way if he this whole time is building up. He's like it's a 2-part for number 10, and number 10, the first part of it leads off in a cliffhanger. This whole time, they're in the same universe as Transformers. And the final part is Fast and Furious crew teaming up with like, that would be just the
they have to drive the Transformers.
Yeah. Vin Diesel with Optimus Prime and all this other shit.
What am I watching?
Dude, that would be wild.
I'd be like, what's going on? Yeah. I'm going with the fucking dude. Like Transformers.
I'd watch that.
In the area.
Dude, that would be sick. But
yeah, I mean that's interesting, man. Honestly, like I don't understand the whole like 2-parter thing and rewarding as. It just sounds like they want to fucking milk it, Yeah. It feels like they've been milking it for a long, long time.
Yeah, I would say.
I just hope that they keep giving us, some good actors in there. I know there's a movie. Did you ever watch? God, what is the name of it? I lost the train of thought from laughing here.
Sorry, is it Hobbs and Shaw? Is that what you're talking about?
No. It's the other Baby Driver. Did you ever watch Baby Driver?
I think I did. It sounds very familiar.
Okay, if you haven't seen Baby Driver, go do yourself a favor.
Wait, is that the one with the music where it's like all about the music and the timing? I have yet to see that. I've wanted to see that forever.
Do yourself a favor, go watch that, dude. Seriously. And after you're done watching it, kind of think that character could possibly fit in the Fast and the Furious universe
because of his talent.
I would like to see him be in there as like just out of nowhere introduce him and they put him into the squad or whatever, because I would really like that. But cool. You should really go watch Baby Driver, because I'm still waiting on a sequel or an announcement of a sequel, because the movie's fucking awesome.
I heard nothing but
really good
praise for that movie, because I heard
I enjoyed it.
The way it uses music is just perfection with the movement on the screen. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's just there's not just the music, but the characters, man. They're likable. They're very likable. And then the stories, obviously a lot of it's ridiculous, bank robbery and all that other stuff. Like it's not that fucking easy.
Right.
But like, it's hyper realistic or whatever. But I think it's cool. I think
I'll check it out for
really
sure.
good. You'll definitely enjoy it. But anyways, I wouldn't mind him being the main character from Baby Driver, Baby, which
Showing
is
up.
basically what it is. Yeah, showing up in there. That'd be really cool. I know there's rumors of Keanu Reeves eventually being brought into the Fast universe at one point as like a villain or something. They might as well go over the top and start casting like fucking all these A-listers to end it off at 10. You know what I mean?
Dude, my mind is just going like crossover heavy. So now you got Baby Driver, Fast and Furious, Transformers, and Matrix all in one movie.
Yeah. Like, G.I. Joe, fucking G.I. Joe, dude. Just throw it in there, man.
That'd be fucking wild.
But yeah. So anyways.
So that's the last bit of news I had. I don't know what you have left or.
All right. Let's go ahead and kick it off here with the first one is a Resident Evil series. Description apparently leaked by Netflix.
Did we know there was a series coming?
I knew that there was a rumor of a series coming.
Okay, I must have forgot about that.
Yeah, and this is pretty much like the reboot from the movies, in my opinion. Like, because the movies were shit.
Oh,
I enjoyed. I kind of like. I enjoyed some of them because they were like kind of like the Fast and the Furious ones, where they just got really ridiculous and stupid, and they had nothing to do with like the video games. Like some of the characters from the video games showed up, but they weren't even like the main characters in the film. Right. They were just like side characters or whatever. Is
that the movie where they have like that grid of lasers? So like he's dodging it, and then it just turns into a full like grate, and he's like, ah, shit, and it cuts through him.
That was the first one, yeah.
That blew my mind back in the day, but I haven't seen it since then.
Yeah. So did you ever play any of the Resident Evil games?
I've seen you play through a lot of them. First one I tried stupidly.
Mm-hmm.
The first Resident Evil I tried was the one, I think it's 7, where it's fucking terrifying, and she comes at you with a knife. And she stabs your hand and shit. I turned it off because I wasn't prepared for that at all. Because I was with VR with that. Yeah. Like that screwed me up. But if they're doing a show, is it a show or a movie? Like a reboot? It's
a series on Netflix. Apparently, it's been rumored for a long time. But there's a plot synopsis that pretty much got leaked. And this is the town of There's a Clearfield. Okay. Not Claire. This is Clearfield. MD has long stood in the shadow of 3 seemingly unrelated behemoths: the Umbrella Corporation, the decommissioned Greenwood Asylum, and the Washington, D.C. Today, 26 years after the discovery of the T-virus, secrets held by the 3 will start to be revealed at the first signs of outbreak. So, I just, like I said, I really want this to take, like, really use the characters from the video games, like start to do them from there. Each season can pretty much take place in a different either time or like I mentioned, like the first season could be like the first game where it's pretty much taking place on a mansion, and the second one which is like it's taking place like in the city of Raccoon City, and the third game is taking place at the same time as the second game, but like in different areas.
Right.
And you know what I mean? So it's like
from an ignorant person's point of view, are the games, are they linear? Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, however many there's been.
Yes, they're all connected. They're all eventually
like the same
connected.
character going through it, or
so like different. No, not the same character, but like let's just say the first game had Chris Redfield and Jill Valentine, right? And Albert Wesker. Those are the main 3 that you'll like. They kind of started it, right? Yeah. And in the second game, it was Leon Kennedy, and then there was a girl named Claire Redfield, which later on is pretty much obvious that that's Chris's sister. Yeah, because she's in Raccoon City looking for her brother.
So there's connective tissue, but it's not necessarily the same story.
Depending on the further the games get, like in development, like there's even spin-offs or whatever of the games. Eventually, some of those characters cross paths. Like eventually, you'll see Leon Kennedy cross path with like Chris, and it's just like a big moment because it's like, they were like big. They're like the
Yeah.
main characters from their own game, so they're like, oh, what the hell.
Yeah, it'd be cool
So,
if
yeah.
the series did it, because I mean that would almost be like season 1 is for following this crew, season 2 is this crew, and then maybe in season
Yeah.
3 those crews cross
And
paths.
eventually they can cross paths, you know, to
Yeah.
have to survive with each other or whatever. So I mean, I enjoyed the fuck out of these games. I was always pretty much a little bitch to play these games as a kid. I would always just watch my older brother. But as I got older, I really wanted to conquer these games, so I played them on my live streams, and I've enjoyed them so much, man. I've done replays of a lot of them like over and over and over. I still don't get tired of them. They're really fun. So this is good. This is exciting, and I would love for Netflix to really. I'm glad that they're making this a series and not a movie. I don't want a movie. I really want this to focus on as a show, because they can go pretty far with this.
I think we talked about how
I just hope they take the creepy route, make it scary, and don't make it such a fucking action film, because that's pretty much what the movies were. They were action films. You know, they were not scary. So hopefully they can, you know, learn a thing or two from like the video games and adapt it into there, because I don't expect it to be copy and paste, because sometimes video games to movies, they just or TV series, they don't make sense. It makes sense in a video game world, but not like a show. So it's okay, but as long as they can take things from the video game and implement them into the show, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But next bit of news, we got some horror related news here. It is Elijah Wood offers an update on A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Frodo.
So I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that they were actually trying to bring this back at all. And then Elijah Wood, out of all people, interesting. But I know he's been like, he's a big horror buff. Like I know he's been like in a couple like horror remakes. I know he's probably behind the scenes of like working on other horror projects and stuff like that.
Right.
So this is very interesting. Let me go ahead and read a little bit of this stuff here.
Okay.
The 39-year-old actor revealed that there are some Elm Street franchise rights complications, with New Line Cinema appearing to hold the rights of the character of Freddy Krueger, while creator Wes Craven's estate was opened up, taking pitches for new installments. It is unclear if either party owned the rights to the film or if they're public domain. With this rights tangled up in various directions, Wood says that he and Noah haven't talked with anyone just yet, but that it'd be fun to get it a shot at, or get, you know, pretty much be able to work on it. And respond with a smiling but resounding no when asked if he could see himself in the role of Freddy. Oh, no fucking way. He then offered an interesting plan for the character. That'd
be so bad. Frodo's coming after you like,
he says, quote, "You have to bring Robert Englund back for one more film." Would enthuse, like, pretty much happy. I think, especially if you're going to open up a new franchise and take it in different directions, you have to establish it with him, and then you can move on. I like what he said there. I don't think it's interesting to tell the same story over and over again. We don't need another origin story of Freddy Krueger. I don't think it should even really be so much about Freddy. Wood continues to describe his favorite film in the franchise as 1994's New Nightmare, the final installment in the original series, which he calls fantastic. Elements fans do not give it nearly enough love compared to other installments. But yeah, I like what he said in regards to that. Yes, you need to bring back Robert Englund for this next one, because they would have to do a passing the torch thing, or they would have to do a different story, but using Robert Englund for the first film, and then they can move on from there. You know what I mean? So it basically sounds like a passing the torch thing, because they have to get him in there.
I think that he showed a lot of kudos and a respect to horror fans, specifically to the fans of the icon that is Freddy Krueger. Like, I'm not a big fan of horror when it comes to like those classic ones, Freddy Krueger, Chucky, and everything like that. But the reason I know their names, the reason I know what they look like, what they can do, is because they're iconic. And to do a renew version, a rehash, or a retelling is unnecessary. And they're iconic, so you gotta handle it with respect. And the way he seems like he's wanting to approach it, of you take that character and then continue the franchise and don't maybe even have different things besides just Freddy, but it still be a part of that. I think just is a good idea. I think that's way better than trying to do a reboot.
I think if they're trying to not really reboot the series, because obviously Robert, you're just not gonna be able to top what Robert did, man. But at least acknowledge what Robert did and still coexist in that same timeline or whatever.
While breathing in like new life to the franchise.
Exactly. So I feel like they should get in with Robert, starting it off, and eventually after the end of the film, or maybe midway to the film, we get we introduce into a brand new Freddy Krueger, and they can pretty much spawn sequels off of that, dude. But they just have to cast someone with a lot more character than what the last Freddy Krueger did. Did you watch the last Freddy Krueger movie?
No, not at all.
Don't watch it. Don't watch it. It's is it pretty burnt? The thing with Freddy Krueger, man, is that Robert Englund made it his own. He just I just love the fact that he toys with this prey. He's just creepy as hell, man. And that's what they need with a new actor, to come in and pretty much make it his own, but at the same time make it to where he's toying with them and it's creepy. They have to learn off of what Robert Englund did. He even made specific movements to Freddy Krueger that just it's very unsettling. So I'm happy that Elijah Wood, hopefully he's enthusiastic of maybe bringing it back. And I'm just happy that he's acknowledging the fact that he wants Robert Englund to come back for at least one more. And Robert Englund has said a couple of times that he's willing to do one more before he hangs it, and that's it.
Yeah. So then it's prime.
That's exciting, man. That's exciting stuff. But I have more horror-related news. Ryan and Andy Tohill are set to direct a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot. Do you watch any of the reboots? Because this will be technically like the third or fourth reboot we get of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm gonna be very honest. When I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I keep thinking of Friday the 13th instead, because I think that's he had a chainsaw, right?
Yes.
Jason. That's
Jason had a machete.
Jason was a machete. When did I keep getting them mixed up? I only see Jason though. I don't know if I'm ever been
Texas Chainsaw Massacre, well, like the character's name, like the villain, is Leatherface. That's probably why, because the movie's not called Leatherface. It's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And then so like Jason, Friday the 13th or whatever, but I can see why you can get them confused a little bit. I can see like I don't know. I got him crossed wires, but now that you've mentioned that he's they're different. Leatherface kind of helped me figure it out, because that's based on an actual, like, if you ever watch there's a YouTube channel on obviously on YouTube, but it's called like Biographics or whatever. I don't know if you've ever seen them. No. I had them on the background at one time, and they had like the actual like guy who inspired Leatherface. Yeah, it's Ed Gein.
Yeah, scary shit. Like genuinely monster of a person. And so like
there's some creepy shit about that. Ed Gein was a fucking I believe he was a cannibal.
Yeah.
And he murdered specifically women.
Yeah.
And used their body parts for furniture and all this other crazy shit. So
it's so fucked up. And so like you saying Leatherface immediately made me think of that, and I'm like, and I think that's why I didn't watch
wear their faces on top of that too. He would wear their faces, so that's why I think whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre Leatherface thing. So as far as like the reboot goes, I don't know, man. I think they should probably do something else with Leatherface. I think they should probably do a video game instead, personally.
Would you want to see a versus movie? Leatherface versus I don't know. You could throw him in with the AVPs. You could throw him in with the Krueger versus Jason.
Nah. I don't know. It's just I feel like they do a Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboot. I think it's because the last couple of reboots, man, have been pretty bad. They just haven't been good at all. So it's just like, I don't know. I just feel like this might be just another fucking shit pile. You know what I mean? Just
we
add
need
it on
something
there.
to fit in this block time
Yeah.
period. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's just I'm whatever's about this one. The whole Freddy Krueger thing, I'm down with. For some reason with this one, we've had, like I said, this is be technically our third or fourth reboot
That's
of
too
the
many.
franchise, and it's just come on, dude. They just nobody can get it right. So let's take a break from this. You know, we'll come back to it in a couple years or so. But right now, I'm just whatever. This one, I don't think we need it. I really don't. Do you have any more thoughts on this?
Not on that, no.
Yeah,
I think you've hit a nail on the head.
All right, so we got the last one here, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a Stranger Things news, which I know you've seen, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched all of them?
Multiple times.
Okay. All right. Stranger Things season 4 may consist of 9 episodes. Fuck yes. Awesome. With 1 or more episodes potentially set to focus on a fan favorite character's origin story. Which fan favorite character do you think it might be?
Well, they said each one's an origin story episode, or is it only one?
It says with 1 or more episodes potentially set to focus on a fan favorite. So which fan favorite character would you think might be?
Realistically, I think they're probably, even though fans found it kind of divisive, the other numbered kids with their like superhero squad, that there was that weird where they trailed off.
I hated that episode. I really hated that.
I did too. I didn't like it, but I feel like that's kind of what they're alluding to. Like fan favorite. I don't know about that.
I don't know. That wasn't a fan favorite. I don't think that was a fan favorite. I think it's probably, for me, I would be okay with like a Steve Harrington thing, but even him, like, I'm thinking it has to be I forget his name, the police officer. What's his name again? Like,
Hopper.
Hopper. I think it's Hopper's character. There might be cool. Like an origin story to him.
Well, yeah, because his daughter, that was so sad. I mean, I've rewatched recently Stranger Things, and I completely forgot that his daughter had cancer, and she ended up passing away real early on. And that's kind of why he's not wanting to share with people that his daughter isn't there anymore and stuff like that. And it's a struggle for him. And it's why it's so touching when he kind of interacts with Eleven. I'd be down to see his origin story, for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Because I don't think it's going to be 11. So we already know 11.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was like, we can't really explore 11. But it's got to be someone interesting. That's the thing, though. Like, it's because the other kids of the show, they're kids. They don't have an origin story. That is their origin story. Personal fan favorite.
Like I said, Hopper or Steve. I'm okay because I love those two characters the most out of all of them.
Right.
So,
personal fan favorite of mine is only in episode 1, and he was the bald, bearded, bigger guy who owned the restaurant, who got unjustly killed and never seen again. And I don't know why I cared so much about that man. But when I watched the first episode, I was like, "Oh, he was! I love that character." And then he dies, and I'm like, "You son of a bitch!"
Yeah.
So I'd be down for that, but I don't think that's what they mean.
Yeah. So I'm excited for more Stranger Things related stuff, man.
I love that show.
And it excites me that it's 9 episodes long, dude. Usually they're roughly around like 8 to 9 episodes.
I think it's 10. There's 10 episodes a season. I think it's one less this time.
And they're always like around roughly an hour long, right?
About,
usually. Yeah. So
I mean, 9 hours is awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm assuming they're probably going to be all in high school by now.
Hell yeah!
Those kids are growing the fuck up, dude.
They're
so big now, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, for example, between It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2, like those kids grew, I want to say like 4 inches between those two movies. Stranger Things, they take almost movie studio length in between seasons. So these kids, each time there's a season, they're evolved. They're like Pokemon. They keep evolving, and you can't stop it. So I mean, it's very jarring whenever you think about it. If you go and watch an episode from season 1, then you go and look at them now, you're like, wow, you've grown up. What's happened?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm totally down. I'm excited. For more.
This is cool. Things. Honestly, like I said, Steve or Hopper for sure for me. Is there any particular character that you would want to see them tackle, like in terms of an origin story, other than them two?
I don't know why. I'm going to say it now. That's my gut feeling. Is that For some reason, they have it in their heads that those, even though they weren't, that those other numbered kids were fan favorites, and I feel like that's what they're meaning. I don't know why.
Okay. All right. Well, that's your prediction. I respect it.
Yeah.
I don't want that to be it, but
I don't either. But I feel like it is.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I see where you're going with that one, though, because eventually they're gonna have to address those kids as well. You know what I mean? So, anyways. All right, guys, that's it for today's news. Really do appreciate you guys. For those of you that are always, listening to our podcast, please let us know what you guys thought about any of the news that we covered today. Your opinions, or if you're excited for any of this stuff, or if you're not, if you guys feel different about some of the stuff that we said, please let us know down in the comments below. But also, please like and share the video, and stay tuned for our review of Harley Quinn. I mean, Birds of Prey.
Yes. And the fabulous emancipation of one Harley Quinn.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, we'll see you guys real soon. Take care, everybody.
Yep. Peace.
Take it easy.